Hi guys and welcome back. So today I want to talk about the game Spikerman. I was lucky enough to receive a code to go over it, so that's what we're going to do today. I'm not going to really worry about too much of editing in the actual showcasing of the game. I'm pretty much going to show you how it looks in general. You will see things that I'm touching on either as I'm touching on them or throughout the gameplay. I will try to make sure that everything that I've touched on is shown to you and that there are no gaps in that. However, I would like it to be known that I may say some things that you don't see right away on the screen and you see them later, just so you know that that's going to happen and you don't think that my editing's messed up or anything like that. That's intentionally done. So first and foremost, you can tell a lot of love is being put into this game. I will state that right off the bat. Now, what that means is that this was a team of people who wanted to make a game through their own vision, and they did just that. Now, what this game off the cuff reminds me of is the older Flash games from like Newgrounds.com, and I'm talking like early 2000 Newgrounds.com, not really what you see today. Now, in that same vein, you'll notice that with the combat as well. One of the reasons why I even made the offer, because yes, I did actually go to them and ask for the code to review this and to look at it, was simply because of a video clip I saw of the combat itself. Now, it is action based, of course it's action oriented. You can go left and right and jump up and down. Well, you jump up and you kind of float down. However, I do want to point out that you do not, it looks like a 3D platform that you're fighting on where you can go further down on the map or what have you, but you cannot. It's left and right, and you can jump if you want to move into a different space, so to speak, in order to attack or to dodge an attack. Now, you do have a blocking system, of course, which is pretty neat. One of the things that they implemented, and I think that they did this in a pretty slick way, is as you gain party members, you can switch out between them mid-fight. What that means is you don't have to go to a menu to switch out who you would like to play as. While you are in the fight with your party member, you can press a button and it will slide over to that member. Now, the reason why I think that they did it in a slick manner, or the reason why I'm saying it was done in a pretty slick manner, is the way that it's handled. While you're in mid-fight and you do switch over to that person, the camera sort of slides to them and puts them in the center. However, if you are next to that particular character, you don't really notice much of a change. Now, of course, if you are not right next to that particular person, it will slide dramatically and drastically pretty quickly over to the other character so that you can control them. To that effect, you do need to manage your items, like your health and your mana items, individually, even though they are on the same playing field. There may be an item or two that will heal or restore mana for all the party members, but that's not always the case, in which case you are healing your primary target as the person that you are playing. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, I will come back to the fighting system a little bit later when I talk about skills, but I want to touch on something else before we get too deep into that, so bear with me if you will. The story of this game isn't really cookie cutter. It felt that way at first when it was first laying it out, and don't worry, if you plan on playing this game, I'm not going to spoil everything for you. I'm just going to lay out the general idea of what the story started out as. You have a beautiful woman and two guys fighting for her attention to see who gets her, basically, is how it starts. And that right out the gate sounds pretty standard fare for a fantasy type trope and what have you. However, it takes a pretty quick turn to the left pretty fast, and I actually found myself chuckling when this was discovered. So essentially, the young lady comes and stops the fight, because these guys are fighting so hard that they're destroying universes and things of that nature with the swings of their swords. So she tells them to stop. The one guy, who is honorable, does stop. The other guy basically says, "Alright, bet, I'll be back," and comes back and does away with both of them. Now again, this isn't any spoilers because this happens in the opening cutscene. It tells you all this. But the artwork and the way this is framed up is enjoyable. Now, the reason why I said that I enjoy the story, or why I'm saying I enjoy the story, is because the way it deviates from the general generic trope that was there right out the gate. The guy that came back did not just say, "No, I deserve her, this, that, and the other." He basically forfeited that and said, "You know what? You're both gone." And it wasn't even on some, if I can't have her, no one can. It was just basically, "I got disrespected, I don't appreciate that, you're gone." Now, he is still painted as being evil because, yeah, he came back to kill two people. Yeah, he's not a good person. There's no way around that. Let's be real here. Now, as you move on, you find out about the descendants and it actually gets into the core gameplay. Now, I cannot stress this enough. You need to go into the rest of the story with the mindset of if you watch anime, an old school shonen type anime with a young protagonist and his group of friends, because that is what you were delivered on. When I first started playing this, I didn't think about that. I didn't have that in my mind, and I was just going in like, yeah, this is going to be an interesting thing. Let's fill this out. And I started to get annoyed by the protagonist because he would always call his best friend Princess, and it's a guy, and dude keeps telling him not to. But something happens a little later on in the story that shows more of their dynamic as friends, and it clicked. I was like, this is like watching Metabots or something like that. You know, I get it now. This is just the dynamic of the story, and that's how it plays out. And for the most part, if you can go at it with that lens, it is actually pretty funny. I had a few moments where I was laughing pretty hard, and I was like, I can't believe that they said that. Now let's talk about the menu a little bit here. It does have your standard fare of items and equipment that you can select and equip and so on and so forth. However, it does have your skills as well. Now, you'll notice that this game, if you do decide to play it, or as you're seeing the play on the screen, you do level up as your standard RPG. You fight, you get experience, and you level up. Each individual character has their own experience, so they have to level them up individually. As they're fighting, they do level up with you, so as long as you have them in your party, they will gain experience as well. You can also find chests in the map and whatnot for your equipment. Now, the skills do automatically set, so you can go look at them, and of course you can, decide how you want to use them, so on and so forth. It does tell you how to use them. Now, you will notice that you have different attacks in the air and different attacks on the ground. Yes, you can spam them as long as you have the mana to do so, and some are stronger than others, even right out of the gate in the beginning. But it's still done in kind of a fresh fashion, where if you've played older games, like even Adventure Quest, based on the animation style of this too, you'd probably enjoy it. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that it's the best game out there and it's the one thing that you should rush and get and what have you and whatnot, but I do think it's a fun game if you want to just kind of relax and play something, because I find myself a lot of the times looking at all the games that I have on my computer, like the really high-end games and whatnot, and I'm just like, I don't know if I want to deal with that today. I know I can go grind on this game. I know I can play this game and level up a character, but I really don't know if I want that action right now. And sometimes it's like that, in all honesty. Playing a good game and playing a fun game can both be stressful when you have to invest a lot into them. This particular game, you can sit back and relax and just play it. You can enjoy the story as you're playing through, and you can just enjoy the simplistic combat, because there are some unique things that you do have to balance: managing your party's health, managing which player you're actually on, moving them out of danger, because the AI, just like in every game, can be kind of lacking in the intelligence department, but that's okay. That happens in just about any game the AI is in. Let's be real here. Let's not try to make this out to be something it's not. But the combat is still pretty simplistic for what it is, and I think that it handles it well because it takes itself for what it is. It's not something that's kind of trying to take itself too seriously. Another thing I want to point out, though, the music in this game is pretty phenomenal. I'm not even going to try to front on that. I've sat in the menu just kind of chilling and listening to it a few times because it's pretty great. Now, there is something I would like an answer on, like a little something touched a little bit. I can tell that the people who are behind this game really appreciate their artists. They really do, because they put their artwork right in the front. However, the menu art looks like they're at a club of some sort. And as far as I've gotten into the game, which I admit isn't super far, but as far as I've gotten into it, I haven't ran across any situations like that. I mean, it really looks like they're all having fun and maybe catching a drink or two or something, but it's jarring. Let me say that. It's like I have a menu set of artwork that is not related to the game at all. And I don't know, maybe the further I get in the game it'll make sense, but where I'm at now, and from what I've played, it doesn't. It's still great artwork. Kudos to your artist for doing that. It just threw me off when I opened the menu the first time. Now, there is something else I want to touch on as far as like the menu and the combat system. They do give you the option to keep the actual controls up on the screen, which I love, because in the beginning of the game I was fumbling a lot and pressing the wrong button and doing the wrong skills, and I was just happy that I had it there so I could keep refreshing and being like, oh hey, This is what it should be. But all in all, guys, for a relaxing game, not comparing it to like AAA titles and stuff like that, but for like a relaxing, chilled out indie game, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. And if you have a way to get it, I recommend it. But I'm also setting your expectations for what you're getting into. Remember, that's a 7 out of 10 for a relaxing indie game, not to be compared with a AAA title. So do not go get this game and be like, Monolith told me, because I'm gonna look at you and I'm gonna say, Monolith did not tell you that, sir and or madam or what have you. No. So let me repeat this. For a relaxing indie title that's not super stressful, that's not hard to get into, that has a fun story and is fun loving and appreciates their artist, I give this game a 7 out of 10. I recommend it for times that you just want to play something simple. That is what I'm saying. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope to see you on the next video. I know I haven't really touched on New World, but if you've been keeping up on New World, you can kind of tell why. But I will be here soon. Anyway, have a great day, morning, noon, or night, whatever it is, wherever you are.